Attention passengers of the Young University and Spadina line. I'm sorry to inform you that there is a delay from station to station. We are doing our very best to alleviate the problem. Hundreds and hundreds of years running the TTC have done nothing.
On this train, we either look up or down. Afraid of the eye to eye, too shy to try, some think they're too fly, but I know. Predispositions positioned next to prefix disses and predisposed positions next to implied prefixes fixed on the previous precious precipice of self-actualization and existence. Existent in mental tumors. Malignant, your mind's infringement of a light that bounces off faces that your mind then associates with things we love and things we hate. And things we love to love and love to hate, and then love itself is in question, because how can one separate love and hate if one can love to hate? You see, we all fear ourselves, our hells. So we put our faces on our shelves and parade around the public in our shells. She sits, wears bangles, he sits, hair tangled, and both souls are strangled, and all heads are held at an angle as if we do not know each other. We stare at the ideal beings being advertised, plastidized, bastardized, captured by bastards. Why do bastards die? In the face of freedom, nobility has to die. Society rasterized, so I feel like I have to try. And I'm asking why? Why do we fear the thoughts of feeling thoughts of fears? And fearful thoughts ought to rot the ears, souls brought to tears, washing feet with hair as long as years spent. Arriving, sent, disguising, told of the need by the greed supplying. You see, we're all designed intelligent. Intelligently designed by an intelligent designer to now redesign intelligence, and I'm reminded of elephants. Woo! Pirates and bribery and ivory prescribing the rise and fall of ideal ideologies. Why theology is challenged, balanced by mediocrity's talent, well, just balance the talent. So fathom, just imagine what could happen if we could look at each other eye to eye without having panic attacks. The truth is, there is no ideal form. The truth is, we form the notion of ideal based on the form of the notion of I real. So I real in beauty is to show these guys real beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in fact what makes the beholder's eyes real. There's a story told about a little baby elephant chilling in the African jungle doing his thing. African jungle, picture it. One day, out of nowhere, poachers come. That was a really terrible elephant sound. I don't know how to do it, elephant. Elephant was in pain. Poachers come, and they take both of the elephant's parents and they put a bullet through his head and her head, and they cut the tusks off right in front of this baby elephant. And then they tie this elephant, tie it up by its feet, flip it upside down, put it on a truck, and then put it on a boat, and then put it on a plane, and tied it to a 5-foot post. So when I put my hand up like this, I want you to say 5-foot post, all right? So there it stayed, day after day, tied to the 5-foot post. This life we live in is broken. Bus tokens transporting poor post-mortem citizens to sporting events. Preventing the unrelenting circumventing of the enemy trying to hold us down. Beautiful smiles turn to scolding, frowns grounded. But what one step out of the promised land? Hey Moses, I found it. A nation, stolen, rotten, forgotten but not begotten. Presently held down by chains and crack rocks and those who leave you rocking back and forth. Told that you be smacking whores or trapping more trap doors if you asking for more or lacking. Poor. was the verbal definition given without permission to me and my family shortly after we were mastered and captured. We were told if we fought in the war of 1812, we would be given freedom. And instead, we were given a land without life. Resources without sources, poor kids living off car batteries and bread, that's poverty. It lies in the eyes of those downtrodden and suffering. As a rich man continues buffering, his nails polished, just 30 after 30 looks through your wallet in 5 minutes. Freedom. You see, freedom isn't given. Freedom is fought for. We've all but forgotten what we were taught for. How do you tame an elephant? You tame his mind. Get him to believe in the phrase, I can't. You bellow out the lies to melanin-covered fellows who jiggle under your power like gelatin-colored jello. You change their mindset. Confuse it. Pollute it. And as their mind sets, they're left with a culture, one they cling to like a wife that clings to the fist that beats her. He beats her, cheats her, and mistreats her out of love and out of life. And as she retreats, her mind tells her she needs her man. Just like you need your culture. I don't mean to insult you, but we're living under the scope of professional vultures, so think twice before you just assume that you're free. Because freedom is like the rest of the best things in life. Held close to the chest of those oppressed and blind, under a bind. Allow me to remind you, we come from the richest place in the world. Filled with the dreams of boys and girls, filled with minerals we now hold above one another, pitting sister against sister and brother against brother. Now we live in a society where living has no definition but variety. See, some live between pearls and Porsches, while others between dying boys, pregnant girls, and poor kids. Poor kids. Mimicking the behavior of their parents who themselves were taught not how to behave. They tell you you're digging for gold, but you're really digging your own grave. I've got bureaucracies mocking me, and one God is my philosophy, a spiritual monogamy. A God to me is fatherly, so I don't make apologies for sodomy, misogyny, or products of hypocrisy. Caged by bureaucracies, offended by the mockeries, and enemies have to stop and see that there is just a shopping me. I'm rapping, and I'm a shout aloud like a mother on a soccer team, a Chinese scene, mingling with aristocracy. Money's like a god that sees no questions to its ring. I'm a challenging democracy, and I'm a kingdom commodity, and my skin is mahogany, and my lyrics are plagiarized, but this is not a robbery. I understand now. Freedom. True, unadulterated freedom starts in the mind, and it ends nowhere. Where are we now? So it's tied to a 5-foot post. And day after day, he's trying to pull himself free from the 5-foot post. Weeks are passing, he's starting to get a little cut on his neck tied to this 5-foot post. Months pass, and more months, and more months, and more months, and by a few months, this elephant has scars deep into his skin, to the point where the rope that's tied around his neck is almost touching his spine. So you know what he does? He stops. He says, you know what, maybe I shouldn't die. Well, as the story goes, the elephant grows up, becomes this big 2-ton bull, and they teach this elephant to do amazing things. It can go up on 2 legs, it can hold a tiger on its back, it can dance, elephant, dance. And every day, they tie it to the same 5-foot post. You see, by now, this elephant is 15 feet in the air, 2 tons. He could rip this 5-foot post and throw it back to Africa where he came from. But guess what? Whenever he thinks of freedom, he thinks of the days, the weeks, the months, and the years trying to pull himself free from a 5-foot post. So my question to you, what are your 5-foot posts? What are the obstacles that are holding you that you've outgrown and will outgrow still? Thank you.